Hi, Alycia and Josh. How are you guys?
Well, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Well, congratulations to the two of you on this series. I was completely addicted after episode 1 and watched the entire series. So, first of all, congratulations to the two of you. I cannot wait for audiences to see it when it comes out this week.
Oh, thank you so
thanks.
much.
I
So
love
nice.
that you
Yeah.
devoured it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, I was just talking to West and Jayden, and I'm like, I know that you guys filmed this last year, months ago. It's finally coming out for audiences to see it. You guys have been doing press. Well, how are you guys feeling? Like, what is the vibe like now that you know that audiences are finally going to be able to see this series in a couple of days?
I mean, I think it's always fun finally knowing like people are actually going to see it. We sit on it for so long and you kind of forget about it for a while. And so when you like it's actually coming out, it's like, oh great, finally people get to see it. It's excitement mostly.
Yeah, it's definitely excitement. I just feel kind of like I'm just like been kind of floating through life the last few days.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wait, oh, I'm awake now. That's right. Okay.
Exactly. I love that. Well, yeah, like I said, I loved the series, watched all of the episodes, and one of my favorite parts of the series is watching the relationship and like friendship between your two characters, between Emily and Clive. And there's a lot of scenes where they're talking, kind of being therapy for each other. So I'm curious for the two of you, how did you two get to know each other before filming? Was there a lot of rehearsal time? Did you guys have any downtime on set in Brooklyn and the Dominican Republic? I know you guys are already laughing, so.
It's because we just hit it off like immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of, we met up one night and I think we just,
It was like first night we were meeting each other.
the first night we were meeting and I think
in New York.
I ordered the French fries and I offered you some and I ate them all. Yeah. And so, yeah,
Straight away we went to like a little dive bar kind of place and we were just like immediately
yeah,
we were just like having drinks and then it was just straight away like, oh, we just get each other.
Yeah, and we kind of got we had a lot of talks about how we wanted to sort of approach it and what how we would our visions for the characters and the story as a whole. So
yeah,
it wasn't all French fries. There was some work happened.
Work, but it was great. I think the fact that we got to, we really were able to have a lot of time together. We could trust each other and have such an open discussion about where we wanted our characters to go. It just made it so much easier. And I mean, Josh is amazing. He's the best.
Yeah, I love that. I love your guys' friendship already. Alycia, I was wondering for you, your character has been going through so much since she was a little kid. I mean, she's going to therapy. She's kind of had like a troubled relationship with, her parents and stuff at this point too. And I was just talking to West about this. I was wondering, what type of research she did, because unfortunately this is something that a lot of families go through. And I know you guys mainly had the book as like a focus point, but what type of research did you do to prepare for a woman who is in this emotional state?
I mean, for me, because I really did try and just get into the character mindset. It is such a unique situation, focusing on the sibling, rather than just, I feel like often it's the parents that get the focus and not necessarily the sibling that's left behind. Right. So it was just trying to get really a good understanding of what that might look like. For me, it was the book, obviously, then trying to like understand that, talking to showrunners, our writers. I think I approached this a lot from the perspective of this is someone who did have childhood trauma, who kind of didn't grow beyond that point in some ways, and then had to fill a void and become a version of her sister. And so it sort of became like this fractured personality. And I think that's something that I really tried to focus and lean into. And it's not just this journey of trying to figure out actually what happened to her sister, but also what kind of happened then to Emily. So I think for me, it was maybe broader themes that I really focused on. But just, I think that specific element of her character arc, I really tried to investigate.
Well, you did an amazing job. I mean, your character arc is insane. And Josh, kind of the same question for you. When we see Clive, in the past, he's a much different person than where he ends up in the finale. So how did you go about, portraying your character arc and his emotional state too?
Yeah, absolutely. When he's younger, I kind of had to separate, create two different people in my head. and figure out, the through line between them, to keep it consistent. When he's younger, there's a bit more awkwardness there. There's a bit more clumsiness. He's a bit more, loose, all over the place. And then when he's older, there was a stoicism that I was trying to play with and discover, in a kind of silent, brooding energy that I was really interested in. And so then, because they're so different, I was just mainly interested in figuring out how I was going to keep them the same person while also making them completely different.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of did feel like I was watching two different people just with your performance and how great it was, and just the going back and forth. Yeah, last question. I have to say, I have so many friends who are obsessed with the 100 and love that show, specifically shipping, Clark and Lexa. And, that relationship means so much to so many fans. And I mean, I feel like fans are still TikToking about it, and I see it on Instagram all the time. What does that mean to you as an actor, to be a part of something that is still, the fans are still so moved by? And if it wasn't for Alexa's untimely death, what do you think the future of their relationship would have been?
I mean, it's incredibly special to feel like I've been a part of something like that. It doesn't happen all that often, and it is entirely because of the fans that's something like that, has its own legs and grows into its own thing. And so, I mean, it's very special to me, the fact that I get to also be a part of that and feel like I was involved in something that then grew an extraordinary life beyond the death of Lexa. So it's it means a lot to me. It's a rare thing to happen. But to your last point, I think it lives in the minds and imagination of fans, and they keep her alive, and I think that's extraordinary. It's a wonderful thing. So
no, I just think it's cool to be a part of something where, like, the show has ended and people are still obsessed with that storyline and that relationship. Well, again, congratulations to the two of you. I cannot wait for audiences to see Saint Exa when it comes out on Hulu this week. I think people are going to be like dying to see the next episode, and you two were both fantastic in it. And like I said, I will be a fan for life and support anything the two of you do from now on.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Yes, it was so nice chatting with you today, and enjoy the rest of your press day and time in LA.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Hi, guys. How's your day so far?
Great.
Good, thank you. Yeah, how's your day going?
Oh, it's going great. I'm so excited to chat with you guys. I absolutely loved this series, and I cannot wait for audiences to see it. I can't believe that it's coming out in 2 days. And of course, you guys filmed it, months ago last year. Honestly, like, I know you guys have been doing press. Like, what is just the vibe now that the show, like, audiences are finally going to see this show? West, I want to begin with you.
I mean, I think it's surreal. We were so immersed where we were in the location and with the people, and so isolated away from our own lives. So it felt kind of like its own little world and experience. And the fact that we're now like bringing that back to our worlds is it's surreal. I'm excited. I hope people.
Yeah.
Jayden, what about for you?
Yeah, similar with me. I feel like if it wasn't filmed, I would be a bit skeptical and if it happened or not. And now it's all documented, so I'm like, okay, yeah, no, it did happen, but it was such a reality, very surreal, but very like exciting as well. Feeling blessed, all those words.
Well, I was completely addicted after episode 1. I binged all of the episodes, of course. And one of my favorite parts of the series is the relationship between your characters, Allison and Edwin. And it just got me thinking, it made me curious. Did the two of you have a chemistry read prior to filming? How did the casting process work?
No,
we didn't.
There was one moment where I was told maybe I was going to get to meet some Edmonds, but clearly I didn't need to. They knew. They knew.
She's very complimentary, as you can see. The chemistry is all from her because she's very nice, eh?
Oh my gosh, so I love that. So what was your favorite thing about working with each other? I mean, the fact that you got to film in the Dominican Republic is pretty incredible, but the two of you have so many scenes together, and some of the scenes are very emotional, some of them are steamy. So what was just like the best thing about working with each other?
West is just so great. I say that a lot, innit? Now Wes is just always down for just to be present in the moment and just wherever I wanted to go, because I can be a bit like, ooh, like just doing whatever I feel in a scene, but she'll just be down for it. And it was always exciting, you know, leaving set with Wes. I always knew we had a lock in that scene. We've got great takes in there, so I'd always feel very calm, very present with you.
Yeah, I think when you act with someone who, like Jayden, who is so willing to improv and to just be in the moment and go along with whatever you do, I think that's what builds the chemistry, because it forces you to be so present, because you're reacting it authentically in every single moment to what they're doing. So I think we were both kind of just like, all right, we're here and we're seeing what happens. And I think that's why, and you know, we're getting to know each other, the characters are getting to know each other. So it felt easy and natural.
I love that. Well, West, obviously, you know, your character, Allison, is going through so many different emotions, and, you know, no spoilers or anything like that for the interview. But, you know, unfortunately, like, this is something that happens to a lot of families on vacation. And I think the show does a brilliant job of highlighting how stressful it is for the families. I'm curious what type of research you did, if you watched any like documentaries, talked to real families, and that process.
No, you know, I didn't. I had the book obviously as a template. I think that it wasn't based off of any specific case. And I think I didn't want to conflate you know, Allison's story with anyone else's. I think it exists separately. But I definitely, you know, there's a lot of pressure to portray someone who, you know, is gonna die after these 8 days, really. And in the show, you only get her for those 8 days. So for me, more, I was trying not to think about the death as much as possible, because it was more for me about, you know, well, what is she doing while she's alive, and how do I showcase who she is while she's alive, because it's such a finite and short amount of time.
No, I love that answer. And I obviously, like, I think the book is like the best foundation. Jayden, what did you take from the book for your character the most?
Oh, wow. In many respects, the Saint X book and the scripts were my Bible, you know, something I return to quite frequently. I believe like a lot of people in the novel have their own chapter or subsection that's from their perspective, but Edwin didn't. So I just had to kind of take little clues and breadcrumbs from here and there. I actually put it up all in like a Google Docs document and like annotated it, and then just kind of derived it from there. But what I did find is that Edwin has like an influence that is really significant in a lot of people's lives. And I kind of like that he didn't have his own section in the book where he's saying his perspective, because his presence is felt in everyone else's lives.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think Edwin honestly just seemed like such a fun guy to hang out with. And so I think that you did a great job showcasing that. Wes, last question for you. I'm honestly just curious how much you kind of grew up on film sets, and if that kind of helped you in any way with this particular series. Just with like your family history, it just made me think, like, I wonder how much she was on set. It was since she was a baby, you know, like through her teenage years.
I spent a lot of time on set in craft service, which is where they keep all the snacks.
All the food and the snacks. That's like the best place to hang out.
Yeah, and in my parents' trailers. So I didn't, you know, I think it's a totally different experience when it's my work. You know, for me it was like, if visiting set felt like, you know, I got to have all the unhealthy foods that like I didn't get, you know, it wasn't, I don't even think I really knew what was going on, to be honest. And I think it's been, I did not help with nerves. I don't think, having visited a set before, I was extremely nervous, but yeah, it's definitely familiar, you know, but it's not, it's a completely different experience when I'm the one showing up, having to do the work. Yeah.
Yeah, well, your nerves were worth it because your performance was incredible. And like I said, I cannot wait for audiences to see you both in Saint X when it comes out to Hulu this week. So thank you again both so much for your time. And I cannot wait for audiences to see your work in this series.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lovely to
Thank
speak.
you both.